Hey everyone, my name's Kelvin and welcome back to my tutorial video here. This is the third video, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use the gold and silver metallic effect. And this is pretty much where we left off last time. And we can add in that metallic effect from inside the Advanced Selective Filters folder. So just open that up. And these top two folders here, these are the gold and silver ones. And I think for this video we'll just use the gold. So these work the same as the colored ones. So wherever we draw with a white brush, this is where it will allow the metallic color to show through. So just make sure that this black mask is selected, and then grab the brush tool. Double check that it's on white, and probably the hardness maybe somewhere in the middle. Not too light, not too hard. And as long as this mask is selected, you can sort of draw on these gold sparkles. And I prefer to do them kind of off to one side. And where you put them is kind of up to you. It depends on your project. It's easy to kind of overdo it, but I recommend first overdoing it and then going back with a black brush and kind of cleaning up the edges a little bit. So I'll just quickly go through and drop in a little bit of this gold. And it's a little bit much. So what I'll do is, now I've been drawing with the white brush, and that adds the gold. If I draw with the black brush, it will hide the gold. So I'll change my color to black and make sure that the mask is still selected here. And now I can kind of clean up these edges here. Maybe bring the gold just a little bit further away from some of these edges. And if you set the hardness a little bit softer this time, it'll give you a slightly softer edge. Okay, that looks pretty good. This effect looks a little bit light, but you can adjust it the same way you do the other ones by changing the opacity here. So as long as that gold folder is selected, we can raise or lower the opacity. And these ones don't really fade, I guess. If you lower the opacity, it'll just kind of reduce the number of sparkles. It won't actually sort of fade the gold against the other colors. It won't really mix the colors. And wherever you add the gold, I kind of recommend lightening it up a little bit in that area. So this folder right here is the lighten filter. And if you select that and make sure that the mask is selected, go over here and change your color to white. And now wherever you draw, it'll lighten the colors underneath it. So I think it looks really good when you lighten the colors that are just underneath the gold, but it's up to you, and it depends on your project. And when you lighten the colors, it lets the gold kind of stand off on a slightly more white background, and it shows up just a little bit better. There we go. And you can also use the lighten to kind of clean up some of these darker, thinner areas. Just whatever adds to the realism, whatever seems natural. When you actually paint with watercolor, certain areas will come out a lot lighter, and certain other areas will come out a lot darker. And it's just kind of a random effect, so you can just kind of apply it wherever it looks right. Okay, that looks pretty good. So this would be pretty much done. If you want, you can save it the same way as we did the other one. You can just export it as a JPEG. I don't recommend using the scripts. Sometimes the remove white script will grab little parts of this gold because there are certain highlights here that are pretty much all white. So if you want this text to be totally isolated, just turn off the background, the paper texture background, and then save it as a JPEG image. So I'll go to File, Export, and Save for Web. I'll make sure JPEG is selected from the File Type dropdown, and I'll click Save. And I'll save it to a safe place on my desktop. Right here is pretty good. And now I'll reopen this image in Photoshop and then cut out the background by hand. So I'll go to my Explorer here. Here's the image I just saved. I'll drag it back into Photoshop. And I can use the magic wand tool to select this white. But first I should duplicate the background layer. So I'll click that layer and do Ctrl J to make a copy of it. I'll hide the original one. And now I can select the individual parts of white here. So there's some parts of the white that are isolated. So I'll hold Shift while I click those ones too. And doing it this way will avoid accidentally selecting the areas of the gold highlight. So once all the white that I want to remove is selected, I can just tap delete. Looks like there's a little piece that I missed there. And this will be basically done. Now it's totally isolated. You can just save it as a PNG and use it in Illustrator or for any of your other projects. So hopefully this is a pretty good overview about how you can use this add-on. If you have any questions, just send me an email or leave a comment, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. But other than that, guys, thanks for your support and thanks for watching.